Hi, I'm a possum and I find garbage. Today's garbage is La Forêt de Demons, or Forest of Demons. Yet another shot-on-video horror film from the early 2000s. But this one's different because it's French. That's right, I'm reviewing a foreign film. I'm a possum of culture now. If only it was in black and white, then I could really start huffing my own farts. Speaking of farts, what's that smell? Oh, it's a French demon. Ho ho! I am a French demon! I have come from the most horrible place imaginable. Hell? None! France under the Macron administration! Oh. So I suppose you're here to eat my $10 patrons. None! I am here just to be incredibly rude and snooty! Oh, okay. Well, look, I could only think of so many French jokes to shoehorn into the script for this video, so why don't you just f*** off back to the Doom Annihilation review until the midpoint. Oui! I will f*** off! And I shall return! Ho ho ho! Alright, let's start the review. The movie starts with, I guess, our Satanist performing some kind of ritual, but I don't see Hillary Clinton anywhere, so I think we're safe. Anyway, they chant for an unnecessarily long time, then these guys in camouflage pledge their allegiance to Satan, and then they fall to their knees, spaz out, and die. We then cut to the opening credits. Normally, when a movie starts with un film de, you expect it to be slow and pretentious, not slow and stupid. So after 2 tedious minutes of that, we're introduced to this guy who I'm going to call Daddy Derek, for no reason other than he kinda looks like the guy who created Cool Cat Saves the Kids, and I can't be bothered to remember his name. Daddy Derek is preparing for a trip with his wife, who I'm just gonna call Woman, because she has no distinguishing traits beyond being a woman. We see their kid, who I'm gonna call Whiny, hiding some fireworks in his backpack. If he was American, he would be hiding something else in his backpack, but then the movie would be over too quick. The movie is the family start driving to the house in the woods for their vacation, and we get some unnecessarily tight close-ups as they talk about how they won't have any phones, and Whiny whines about it. We then cut to another group of scumbags packing up their van. In this car we have 3 or 4 white guys who all look and act the same, so I can't tell them apart most of the time, but none of them have any defining characters or character traits or character arcs or anything, so it doesn't even matter. They might as well all be the same character. We also have Fat Woman and Diversity Hire. Can you guess why I'm calling her Diversity Hire? It's because she's played by a very diversely talented actress, and she was a great hire for this role. Anyway, nothing important happens in the scene. I mean, I guess you could say the point was to introduce the characters, but that would imply there was some characterization going on. Daddy Derek, Woman, and Whiny arrive at the edge of the woods, where they have to get out and walk the rest of the way, even though there's a clearly visible path obviously made by the wheels of a motorized vehicle. Whiny complains that the suitcase Daddy Derek is making him carry is too heavy, and then they arrive at the house. They insert the giant medieval key into the weirdly tiny door and enter. Then we see the van kids arguing over Diversity Hire's inability to read a map. So she gets out and starts crying for no reason. So Guy apologizes to her even though he didn't do anything wrong, and then they get back in and keep driving. Other guy and other guy say they're glad to be single. Then we cut back to Whiny complaining about the room at his vacation house being creepy. Then we cut back to the van kids driving up to a crazy lady by the side of the road who tries to warn them about there being demons in the forest. They laugh at her, being too stupid to realize that she may be a dangerous lunatic, but then it turns out she's a dangerous lunatic. The crazy lady pulls the guy out of the car and tries to strangle him, but then the other guy pulls her off, and then they get back in the car and drive away. The van kids then arrive at the edge of the woods, and one of the guys says he'll go look to see if they're in the right place so they don't go carrying their bags into the woods for no reason. We then get 80 seconds of him just walking, and then we cut to the others complaining about him taking too long. Then we cut back to him walking for another 20 seconds. Then he comes back to the car and says he got lost, but then he found the house. So I guess he saved the other characters some time by wasting the audience's time. Hey, instead of showing the guy walking through the woods while nothing happens for nearly 2 minutes, why not show him finding the house? Or they forget to film it? So then they walk up to the house and finds Whining and his family already there. It turns out whoever owns the house rented it to 2 different groups at the same time, so they try to call the owner to straighten it out. But they don't have any service in the woods. That's a big horror movie cliche, but these movies wouldn't work at all if the characters had working cell phones, so I'll grudgingly give it a pass through gritted teeth. in much the same way I pass a kidney stone. Woman invites them to stay for the night, so then they all file into the house. Then Whiny stuffs his pockets full of fireworks and goes out to screw around in the woods. He walks around until he finds a plaque hastily glued to the rock that was apparently left by the Satanists. Whiny then starts throwing around some M80s until a guy in terrible red makeup pops up from under the dirt and grabs him. Whiny manages to get away, so then two or more demons pop up and one of them starts chasing Whiny for a tediously long time while horrible electronic music plays. After more than a full minute of running, Whiny climbs a tree. The demon jumps at him until he gets bored and just walks away. Then the Whiny climbs down and runs back to the house. He tries to tell his parents about the demons, but they don't believe him. So instead of considering the possibility that he might be describing an animal or a crazy guy in a mask, they just send him to bed. Later that night, everyone is sleeping, but then Whiny wakes up, goes to the window and opens it for no reason, and prays to God to protect them. I wish God would protect me from this movie. And then he goes back to bed and nothing else happens before we cut to everybody having breakfast the next morning, making that scene entirely basically pointless. Whiny tells everyone about the demonic screaming he heard last night, but which we, the audience, didn't hear. Really, he just gets up in the middle of the night, prays, then goes back to sleep, and at no point were any screams heard. And nobody in the movie heard it either, so of course nobody believes him. Daddy Derek, Whiny, and one of the van guys decide to go down to the road to see if they can get reception so they can call the owner of the house. They get to their cars and find that they have no gas, and then they speculate that somebody stole it, so they can't drive and they still have no signal. They go back to the house, and one of the van guys suddenly gets a text message telling them they're gonna die. One of the other van guys goes outside for reasons unspecified and gets attacked by a demon. The other guys gang up on the demon and tie him up. Daddy Derek asks Whiny where the demon's graves are, because he just assumes the demons popped out of graves, because I guess that's how demons work in this universe. Whiny tells them that Daddy Derek and the two van guys go to find the graves, leaving the kid and their girlfriends behind in the house with the live demon tied up with a flimsy rope. They don't even try to kill it or anything, they just leave it there. We then cut to a third group of people, a man and his girlfriend who looks to be about 20 years older than him. I'm going to call them Kermit and Miss Piggy. They drive around until they find the same crazy lady who strangled the other guy. She tries to warn them about the demons, but again, they just laugh at her. The crazy lady tries to strangle Kermit, so they drive away. Kermit and Miss Piggy then stop by the side of the road and walk off into the woods. Gee, I can't wait to see where this subplot is going. We cut back to Daddy Derek and the two van guys finding the plaque from earlier. They realized there were Satanists here, and they were so evil that they literally became demons. We cut to the demon tied up in the house, puking up some green shit. Then we cut back to Daddy Derek and the gang going back to the house, so that cutaway was totally pointless. We then cut back to Kermit and Miss Piggy making out in the woods. Of all the women in this movie, this is the one who agreed to take her top off. This gratuitous nudity goes on for 2.5 minutes while this cheesy 90s music plays. This goes on and on until one of the demons finally shows up and rips out Kermit's pig intestines. While that's going on, Miss Piggy just sits there and screams. She doesn't try to help her boyfriend, she doesn't run away. She just sits there for the minute or so that takes the demon to kill Kermit and then turn his attention to her. Miss Piggy finally gets up and runs away, and then stops and yells for help because she's too stupid to realize the demon is close enough to hear her. This goes on for another two minutes. Then the demon finally pops up and chases her. The demon catches her and bites her neck, and then the same music that played during the makeout scene starts playing, and the demon, as the demon rubs her breasts. And it just holds on him doing this for like a full minute until he finally gets up and walks away. What the hell is wrong with this movie? And that's it for Kermit and Miss Piggy, by the way. They contributed absolutely nothing of value to the story. It couldn't be more obvious that these scenes were thrown at the last second to pad out the runtime. So Daddy Derek and the others come back to the house and the demon just kind of unties itself and starts choking Fat Woman. One of the guys tries to fight him, and another guy stabs the demon in the head, killing it. Well, that was easy. I guess all you have to do to kill a demon is stab it. I mean, I already knew that because I stabbed a demon with a broom handle that one time, but it seems to me that anything that could kill a human can also kill a demon. If that's the case, why even make them demons? They might as well just be zombies, which is what they act like anyway. They pop out of graves, they attack people indiscriminately, they don't demonstrate any higher intelligence or sense of self-preservation, and they're even former humans who died. Why even make them demons if everything about them says they're zombies? Why are they wearing army fatigues?
Well, you see, these are French demons. They are quite, how do you say, pathetique, just like our military.
Oh, so this barely watchable movie made by a mentally handicapped person with $20 is a commentary on the French military-industrial complex?
But of course, it's political. Why, all art is political.
You know what I think? I think the people who say all art is political are the type of people who are incapable of self-reflection and can't help but view things through their own political lens, so they see meaning where none was intended.
Oh?
Yeah, it's one of those to the man who only has a hammer, everything looks like a nail situations. You shoehorn politics into everything you do and say, so you project political motivations onto other people without any self-awareness. But sometimes a dumb movie about demons eating people in the woods is really just a dumb movie about demons eating people in the woods.
Well, if it isn't a political allegory, then why are the demons wearing the uniforms?
Probably because whoever made this movie found them at the thrift store and just thought it would look cool. Or they thought it would be convenient to just make all the demons look the same so they can interchange the actors based on their availability without anybody noticing.
Well, that does make sense. And it does satisfy Occam's razor. But you know what I think? I think you are a stupid American who can't see the true hidden meaning in art. And you call yourself a film reviewer. Ha! I spit on you.
Alright, back to the review. Daddy Derek and one of the van guys drag it outside, and then we cut to some guy walking around with a basket and a stick. We get about a minute of this guy wandering around the woods until he finds a bloody shirt on the ground and runs away screaming. And that's the last we see of him. Who was that guy? Why was he walking around the woods? What did he have to do with anything? Absolutely nothing. So then we cut back to the house, where one of the guys is looking for a diversity hire. It turns out she went outside at some point. When? Why? We never saw her leave. I think the last time we saw her was 20 minutes ago, so it's like she just disappeared from the movie. Did that actress just quit halfway through the filmmaking? So they just wrote her out? So the guy goes running through the woods and finds the bloody shirt Vasque guy saw earlier, and he starts crying. So I guess this is diversity hire's shirt. I don't know, I wasn't paying attention to what she was wearing. You know, instead of having this completely pointless scene of a guy who has nothing to do with the story walking around and finding the bloody shirt, and then not doing anything and scream and run away completely without any consequences of the plot, they could have just had this be the reveal that diversity hire is dead. This is like basic storytelling. So the guy goes back to the house and tells everyone diversity hire's dead, then Fat Woman throws a fit, then everyone decides they have to leave the house and find help. But then they realize the demons are breaking in, so they block the door, but then one of them just calmly climbs in through the window. One of the guys finds a chainsaw, which I guess was just in the kitchen for some reason, and takes forever to turn it on while the demon kills one of the other guys and Daddy Derek. The guy finally gets the chainsaw running and uses it to kill the demon. It's already been established by this point that you can kill the demons just by stabbing them, and the demons are dumb enough to just run into a confined space where they're outnumbered. So really, this should be the most easily defeated movie monster in a movie ever, and nobody should be dying in this situation. All they have to do is stand by the door with a pointy or blunt household object and just wait for them. The gang walk through the woods, but then Fat Woman stops by a tree and pukes, then just stays there until another demon grabs her. And somehow, in the 5 seconds this took, the rest of them managed to walk so far away that they can't see her and aren't even sure they heard her screaming. Did they fall through a time portal? Fat Woman manages to escape, and the demon chases her for nearly 3 whole minutes before she finally thinks she got away and sits down. One of the guys goes looking for her, and then Fat Woman gets up and starts walking around, holding her hatchet in a way no human ever would. And this goes on for another full minute until the demon pops out again, and instead of immediately hitting the demon with the hatchet like any rational person would, she just runs away and we got yet another chase scene. Holy shit. So the demon eventually catches Fat Woman when she trips like women in horror movies always do. And they wrestle on the ground for a tediously long time until one of the guys shows up and tries to save her, but then the demon pins him down and bites his face off. Then the others show up in time to watch him die, but I guess the director or the editor or whoever just forgot that there's a demon standing right there, because they all just stand around and don't do anything until the fat woman finally picks up the hatchet and hits the demon with it, killing it. So that's it. All the demons are dead. But there's still 15 minutes worth of movie to pad out. Why can't it just be over and done with? In and out. That's what Sarge used to say, and that stuck with me all through the war. I was so quick and efficient, the boys called me One Wipe Willie because, damn it, I got it done. So then we get more walking around the woods. Fat woman picks up a stick and starts beating up a bush for an obnoxiously long time. Then they talk about nothing. Then everyone goes home. Then we cut to one of the guys waking up from a nightmare in his squalid apartment. He looks at a photo of Diversity Hire and cries. Then we cut to Whiny playing basketball with another kid. They accidentally throw the ball into the woods, so the other kid goes looking for it. Then Whiny goes after him, and we get yet another drawn-out scene of a character walking around until he finds his friend makes fun of him for saying his dad got killed by demons. Whiny vows to prove it, but then the movie ends by threatening us with a sequel that thankfully never got made. So that's Forest of Demons. What the? Did I kill you?
Yes, and I went to hell. Then came back. What did you expect?
I don't expect anything. It keeps me from ever feeling disappointed. Hey, I always wondered, are there a lot of cool people in hell?
But of course, there is Alex Bones, Charles J. Harris, Ed Kidna, Jankover, John Wellington, Joseph Reagan, Keith Paul, Limp, Exquisite, Michael Lone, Olazinski, Pete T. Pato, Reed Strickland, Ricky Baruga, Ruin Scepter, The Sauce God, Virgil Crone, and Victor Alexandrovich Gontar.
Oh wow, those sound like some cool people. Maybe some of them can fake a French accent better than you piece of